So it was just fun. It was fun. I don't even recall. We probably got a talent fee, but I don't recall. And we never knew when we would be asked to come and just MC. It could be 2 or 3 times a week. It was fun. It was great. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Welcome once again to the Talking Archive. I'm Josh Jacobs. If you have any suggestions, if you have any guests you'd like to have on the show, just email me, joshdj57@gmail.com. That's joshdj57, that's a 5 and a 7, @gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you. And our conversation concludes now with Sacramento radio DJ Tony Cox.
When are we going to start recording this show?
Yeah, exactly.
Josh, you are fun, man.
You too.
Yeah, I dig it.
So you, Guido, or Bruno. Yo, Bruno. I confess when I...
Did you hear OJ died, by the way? Talk about the odds of Guido. I don't know. Anyway, if it don't fit.
There was when I interned for Oldies Night 3 CBS FM, it was Christmas time back in late 1992, and I was helping Benny Martinez out because they weren't getting callers, so I was disguising my voice as different callers. And so I said, "Hi, this is Franklin from Waco on here, banging on by T-Rex on CBS." And this was like 2 months before we found out about David Koresh.
Oh God!
Yeah, because originally I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say originally, but then he says no. I was going to say Eddie from Tyler, Texas, because I have a cousin named Eddie from Tyler. Speaking of criminal, he's serving a jail sentence right now. But he was going to be part of the LAPD, and then, even though he's like a bodybuilder and a local Chippendales dancer, he didn't make it to the LAPD. Of course, he was such a redneck. He thought the Mayo Clinic was the mayonnaise clinic, and
oh my God.
Yeah, and I mean, he was nice, but he's just like. But then he was in some business with somebody, and then he decided to pay somebody else to off the people that he was in business with, and he got caught, and now he's in jail. Fortunately, those people are okay now, but. But then the second one, about a week or two later, I went, "Hi, this is Bruno from New York. I want to dedicate American Pie to my girlfriend."
Oh my God!
Then I found a friend of mine we played that on the air, and the program director never found out, which was cool.
Oh, okay. See, now if the PD never finds out, it's fine. Unless now in today's world, though. You can offend everyone.
Yeah,
you can offend absolutely everyone. So, it's interesting because who cares? We need to thin out our attitudes,
Oh yeah,
and thicken our skins a bit, And
we should, maybe Lenny Bruce should be required, and George Carlin should be required listening in school.
Yeah. Well, that and the movie Idiocracy and some of the other fundamental oddities about, 1984, which is yet to come true, or did it? Maybe it was a metaphor for what was going on with Hitler in the 40s when it was the 30s when it was written. So who knows? Artist, did Picasso reflect society in an abstract form? Apparently, he did something that caught a moment that tastes when you look at it, and that's art. And when the scientists get together and the people who are artists are in the know and they're able to make a movie or write a poem, it isn't just made up stuff. It's things they've seen in a very abstract form that everyone can relate to without words, without specifics. I mean, if Picasso painted houses, I don't think anyone would really care. If Norman Rockwell painted people with 3 eyes, I don't think anyone would really care. So when an artist can depict what they see in life, that is their point of view, and that's unique, and that's why people like that. So when it comes to a science thing, like, all the things that are going on now, Star Trek, what isn't? What don't we have? We have 3D printers now, which are the first step of teleporting. We can make bio ink now. With a CAD design, you can make a bio thing. Ears. You can manufacture silicone ear replacements for prosthetics using a 3D printer.
That's right, yeah. In fact, I saw some 3D printed Star Wars type of gear for different Star Wars characters a friend of mine had printed out. It looked really, really good. It was interesting you mentioned metaphors because recently I interviewed Chuck McKibben, who wrote the book Mel Blanc, The Voice of Bugs Bunny, ... and
I saw that. I was just watching that today. Listening to that today. Wow.
He has something coming up on the talking about the Twilight Zone and Rod Serling using all those metaphors because he couldn't do other things. So make sure to listen to that part of the interview because it was very, very fascinating and it reflects or it relates to what you just said. Or Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles. I mean, he wrote that with Richard Pryor, and it was making fun of racism. It was making fun of racists.
Not making fun of racism or pointing out the difference that causes people to make fun of racism and not being able to laugh at that fun. Well, it makes me laugh. Well, don't laugh at that. And so the sophisticated individual looks at comedy as a way of being cleansed of bias. It's a look into the opposite world that you would never have freely looked into through comedy. Mm-hmm. And so when people judge comedy as I don't know, but George Carlin definitely, remember, Pryor, and So are we nearing the end of this?
Well, we might be.
I don't want you to run. Last time it was like, okay, I didn't get to say goodbye.
No, there's nobody. Nobody's knocking on the door yet, so that's good.
Oh, okay.
If they're not knocking on the door by this time, they're not going to be knocking on the door unless they're like, hey, quick, I got to do some read or whatever. But there's like 3 other studios that are empty, so they're trying to bug me. That means they don't like me, and Well,
I'm doing a prospectus, a study for a thing, a local weekend show called Good Day.
Oh, okay.
Has been on here for like 27, 8 years, and on weekends they have really cool things going on, and they're number one. So I've been an occasional guest, and I'm preparing a new game show for a 25-year-old anchor who just came on board. She's beautiful, smart, loves music. She kind of old soul. She likes everything that some of the other hosts who are a little more aged play, that are more of the 90s, 70s music.
Oh, great.
She's intrigued by that. So I've come up with a contest called, it's a working project called Looney Lyrics. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 2 different lyrics of songs. For instance, I'll say, Sakura, that's her name. I say, hey, this song came out in, what year was it? 1972. Mm-hmm. And the band was originally the backup band for Linda Ronstadt.
I know the answer.
Well, yeah, but wait. So yeah, of course you wouldn't. And they went on to become number one, and they're still touring. So which of these 2 lyrics is a Looney lyric not written by this band? We're not going to tell her what the band is. We're not going to play it. So Tina, my co-host, she's going to read one, and I'll read the other. She'll go, come on, baby, don't say maybe. I got to know if your sweet love is going to save me. And then I'll come on and go, well, my love knocks on your door. Open up, let it in. Our love is to adore, which is a real lyric.
Wow.
She'll have no idea. She'll have no idea. And the listeners at home and her demographic won't know. So, of course, the answer is, Take It Easy by the lyrics, and we'll play it by the Eagles, and we'll play it. My love knocks on your door. Oh, no, my love knocks upon your door. Open up, let it in. Our love is to adore. Which song is a real lyric? I think it's going to be fun. Don't you think that's going to be fun?
That sounds awesome. I like that.
That's just an example. And on the screen for the viewers at home, there's going to be a graphic with musical lyrics, mystery group, and one will have the lyrics like it's part of the sheet music, and as we read it on camera, and then we're going to shoot to her, this young girl, and she's going to have to think, wow, which one was a real lyric? She won't know what the song is. We're not going to do it melodically. We're not going to tell her who the group is. We'll just say it was 1972 by a group that was so popular. They were a backup band. Remember Linda Ronstadt? maybe. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun TV. Anyway, so I'm just working on that. So I got to get back to that.
Oh, that's great. Speaking of which, music, you mentioned before a couple weeks ago when we first talked, getting to work with the Monkees and working at Disneyland. Tell us about those stories again.
Oh, well, back in the day, I worked in Thousand Oaks, which was about 30 minutes from Anaheim, and Disneyland, as you know, does promotions with radio stations to come in and broadcast live. But before that technology allowed, they would invite jocks to come in and MC all the concerts on the stages that pop up and turn around. Disneyland is, I would think, at least 50%. I would think maybe more like 70% of everything at Disneyland is, underground. All those rides, they go underground. Mm-hmm. Not a lot goes up except the castle and I guess the Matterhorn, probably two of the highest points, but everything's down underneath. So these stages, there's access tunnels that go underground so that the stars don't have to battle all the crowds. There's no way you could get anywhere. So there's all these access tunnels. So it was just fun. It was fun. I don't even recall. We probably got a talent fee, but I don't recall. And we never knew when we would be asked to come and just MC. It could be 2 or 3 times a week. It was fun. It was great. I enjoyed it. Yeah. And,
they had that cool stage in Tomorrowland that rose up slowly as the band starts playing.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola stage. Yeah, that was fun. That's where I did the Monkees. I introduced the Monkees on that particular stage one night that ended up to be just wonderful. I think I mentioned that last time, going to the after-show party with Davy Jones and Mickey Dolenz by a few other people.
Then Boyce and Hart and Ringo Starr were there.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm thinking, it's okay to say it. I mean, that happened, but I don't know if I'm talking out of school on some of these things, but, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, those are cool stories. You also got to see Elvis Presley live, which also had David Soul and Paul Michael Glaser from Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah. Well, those are 2 separate things. Well, actually, they aren't. The girl, now that you mention it, I didn't. I had met Paul Michael and David Soul as they were filming Starsky and Hutch next to our studios in Thousand Oaks. They were there using that as a set location. They got off work and saw us in the window and came in. I interviewed both of them. They were very cordial and relaxed. And, I guess they only lived a little ways away. No hurry to leave. And so I said, let's go out. I got off the air. I said, let's go out and get a beer. We went out and got a beer and came back. And I go, hey, I'm doing a PSA on child abuse for young kids, teens that are addicted to drugs. And he goes, huh? I go, yeah, you want to talk about it? So for some reason, they both said, yeah. So I talked about it. I go, did you know, they were just there. I go, Paul Michael Glaser, Starsky and Hutch are here. Did you guys know that alcoholism in teens, and they just put up with it. It was called, I won an award for that particular show. It was called, I forgot. I'll look for the award. Anyway.
Okay.
So after that session, they just hung out and we had fun. And so a few days later, a young woman comes up, beautiful young lady, and said, hey, is Dave here is my real name, Dave, at the time, Dave Camper, not Tony Cox. Anyway, so I said, yeah, and she said, I heard the interview with David Soul, and I was trying to get a hold of him. We've been going out for a little while, and he hasn't returned my call. I just wondered if you'd heard from him. So that was my connection with Elvis, because that girl, I guess David never called her back, but she was a wonderful girl. So she and I became friends and dated for quite a while, and toward, things with her package, a lot of people looked at her. So I wasn't really looking for a permanent relationship in the first place, being 22 years old. You know how people are at that age. And she was just a knockout, and everyone knew it, and that's fine. I wasn't expecting anything, but one day after we had dated for about a year, she goes, hey, I got tickets to Elvis. I said, what day? And Sunday. I go, oh, God, I got front row to the Doobie Brothers. You can see Elvis next time. She goes, oh, no, we're going to Elvis. No, you can see the Doobies anytime, or you can go see him now. I'm going to Elvis. So of course, if you knew how she looked and you were a young teen, just out of your teens, boy, working at a radio station, it was just cool. And so I did it. It was fun. Why not?
Oh, yeah.
I said, okay, I want to continue our relationship. We've been going out for a year. I'm thinking to myself, if I don't go, this is going to be it. If I go to the Doobies and let her go there, I'll never see her again. So I said, Val, I'll go with you to Elvis. Yeah. And I was really polite all the way. I walked into the arena, and you smell all this estrogen in the air from women that are just waiting for Elvis to come on stage. And so she takes us to our seats, which is the very last top row behind a pillar, obstructed view. I can kind of see the stage. I could see the stage at the Long Beach Arena Indoor Stadium. And so Elvis had an orchestra. He had a whole orchestra in the pit, and then the singers on stage, and pretty much that. And him, it's a clean stage, not a lot. And so he always came on then with the song, the Bach, I think Bach or Beethoven wrote also Sprach Zarathustra, which is his intro song, which was made a popular hit, by the way. And it starts out, bum, 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 ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. So, Elvis comes out, and I think it's a D above high C, the shrill of every female voice in the world, like sirens in the Greek mythology, filled the arena. Couldn't even hear a thing. It was just like, from all the women. It was just amazing. So I gratuitously clapped. I stood up, because there were very few men around. So I stood up and I clapped like, yeah, it was cool. And I sat down, and it took about 3 or 4 minutes for everyone to settle down. And he said, hello. And then they cheer everything he said. He had scarves around his neck that he would take off and hand to the front row. And it was almost like I was watching Elvis imitate Elvis, because he was the fat Elvis, with all due respect at the time. So he goes into his first song. Forgot what it was. Can't Help Falling in Love or something. And all of a sudden, I swear he looked up at me. I swear he gave me eye contact from the stage all across the arena. I think he looked at everybody in that audience at one time or another. Wow. I'd never seen an entertainer connect with an audience like that. And so at the end of that song, I actually applauded. And every time I clapped my hands, I could tell he could hear it with all the other collective clapping hands. It was amazing. It was like watching something that had a life of its own, based on whatever he was. It was, and it really was. It was phenomenal. So by the end of the show, I was going, yeah, because when he's doing Suspicious Minds and all these, yeah, not but a hound dog, and I'm watching, I'm going, God, he's really good, even at 300 pounds, he's really got it. He's got it. You either have it or you don't, and he certainly did. And you can't see that on camera. It doesn't come across on. You got to see it. It's like an eclipse. It don't come across on film. You have to see it.
Wow.
So at the end of the concert, Val and I are in her car. She drove. We're going back home, 30-minute ride. And I'm going, wow, Val, that was awesome. I can't believe I thought I was going to go to the Doobie Brothers. I could see the Doobies. I saw Elvis. That was so cool. Remember when he sang that? He took that scarf off, and she's just going, And after I'm done, she goes, well, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I've been thinking we should break up. Yeah, so that was our last date. So, and that was okay. Again, being 23-something, it didn't break my heart. I wasn't looking for a family or anything more than the fun we had. And I know that sounds kind of superficial, but hey, that's the way people are in their early 20s. Unless you want to be different, and that's okay too. But at the time, but it was funny that if I'd have gone to the Doobies, she'd have broken up with me. I went to Elvis, and she still broke up with me. But it was fine. I mean, I said, "Oh, okay, cool." Yeah, we were still friends for quite a while.
Wow, that's great.
Isn't that funny, though? Yeah. So yeah, that's the Starsky, Hutch, David Michael Soul. What was her name? Valerie. Oh my God, Valerie, sweet Valerie. Yeah.
It kind of ties back to the Monkees because the Monkees had a hit called Valerie.
Oh, that's right. Wow. You're blowing my mind, Jacob.
Well, Tony was been great. Hey, that's okay. I've been called Jacob before, or Jake, or Johnny, or Joey, or
Josh Jacobs.
like the football player from the was with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now he's with the Green Bay Packers. Just signed a 4-year, $48 million deal. We were both born in February, except he was born February 11th. I'm February 14th. So either I was born 3 days too late, or he was born 3 days too early.
Yeah. Well, Valentine's Day, and on leap years, February is kind of screwy because you got a half day there. You could add or subtract.
Yeah.
So it's only a day and a half or something like that. I don't know. You go back to that pie thing, pie 3.14 cream banana.
It's like that lady who just celebrated her 100th birthday, was born February 29th, 1924, and she says, well, I'm 25 years old now. Or 25.
Oh, yeah. Well, I always tell people, I'm only about, what I say, I'm like 28 in dog years, so. 143 years old. Well, I'm going to have to get to here. It's
cool.
Today's Tuesday. Yeah, well, what a pleasure.
Yeah,
just a pleasure. We could talk for hours. And when I'm in L.A., we'll have to hook up, or if you're up here, come up here. I'll buy you some Mexican food.
Sounds good to me. I love that, Tony, and thanks for coming on to the Talking Archive.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
We've been talking with radio personality Tony Cox, and until next time, this is Josh Jacobs. Keep your mind on the things above, and as you hit that open road, don't be a slowdown spectator.